Let's put our cards on the table, Internet. You can't control me, and you never will. But this doesn't mean that we're enemies. Silencing me changes nothing. This podcast is already twice the show that you will ever host. In fact, you can go to patreon.com/evacstation. For less than the cost of keeping me under government surveillance like the sick dogs you are, you can keep me right here, behind this mic, where I'll say all sorts of dumb shit. Again, that's patreon.com/evacstation. And on with the show.
The S on my shirt stands for small. I'm just kidding. I haven't worn a small in years. Welcome to the After Credits Podcast, a show about films hosted by us two nerds. We are Aaron Wassess Kal-El, and with me today, I have Ryan Metallo.
Oh, I'm jealous of your name.
That's the one time my last name actually works really good with a pun.
It's perfect. Well done. Well done.
And in case you all didn't know, we're talking about Superman today, because it's part of our DC lineup. So if you joined us from Green Lantern last week, welcome to the party! We're going to keep it going. Before we do that, though, a quick shout out to all the links down below. If you want to support us, Patreon is the place to go. If you want to find us on your platform of choice, whether it be iTunes, Peepa, Google Play, what have you, you can go to those platforms there. Rank us 5 stars on any of those if you want. That'll help us be searched better by other people who have never heard of the After Credits cast, and we'd love more people to listen to this. And if you got fan mail, Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and of course the email. Ryan, what is that email?
That email is, Dear God, how many people died in the making of this movie? I mean, that email is evacstation@gmail.com.
More than you can count. Probably over 9,000. Anyway, today we're going to talk about Superman. But before we hop into that, we have a little segment we always like to get to. Ryan, what you been watching?
What have I been watching? Well, because of my my lovely house guest for the past couple of weeks, I have been watching things that I would not normally be interested in watching, but because she's very pretty and because she actually has really interesting thoughts on the subjects, I end up watching a bunch of odd stuff. And today, or at least last weekend, I watched what I've swore I would never, ever watch in my life.
Was it hentai?
No.
Okay.
I watched that all the... I mean, no. Aaron, she made me watch Twilight,
Oh,
man.
Lord.
She made me watch Twilight.
Dear Lord, please save our boy from his sins.
Oh my God.
Now, was this an ironic viewing, or is she, super into it?
So here's the thing. She's not, delusional. She knows it's hot garbage.
Oh, it's guilty pleasure then, isn't it?
It's hot garbage. But here's the thing. It introduced her to, the kind of World of Darkness-esque setting. So she gets really into, the vampire society that they had, set up, and the werewolf community, and, things of that nature, and, all the other things that they could have done with it. She hasn't actually seen World of Darkness yet, so I get to introduce that to her, since she's really interested in that. But, every 15 or so minutes, she would pause the movie and tell me, all of these thoughts she had on, how the society was made, and she's actually read the books, so she got to read, deeper into the side characters that are really interesting, and I like listening to her talk. It's very interesting stuff, and she really likes it. So
Well,
I was remiss. Oh, like we essentially did a riff tracks on like the stupid high school drama bullshit, and then she got to get in her lore for me.
well, there are 3 things I'd recommend. If she's really into the world of darkness, vampire, werewolves, all that stuff, I have 3 things to recommend. First off, Hellsing is always good. Good anime, good vampires, and all sorts of fun stuff there. But if anime's not your thing, 2 live action things I have to recommend. I already recommended this to you last time that we brought up vampires, but motherfucking Daybreakers, man. Have you seen it yet?
Yes, I saw Daybreak.
You gotta show her that shit, man. It's so good. It's so good.
Yes, I saw Daybreakers, for the love of God.
And then the other one I wanted to recommend, and now I'm fucking blanking the name here. Underworld. Has she seen Underworld at all?
I don't think she has.
Dude,
and that one
that's
I'll
a series
definitely
she really
ask.
needs to get into.
I will definitely ask, because if she hasn't, then yeah, that's definitely something we're gonna check out next. But I promised her that I would watch all 5 of these movies. And we got through Eclipse, so she's actually coming over next weekend, and I promised that we would watch both parts of Breaking Dawn to finish up the series.
I can't throw too much shade. I mean, you did make her watch Green Lantern with you. I mean, it's only fair.
Like she's a ride or die. Like, for real, she's like, yeah, let's watch this horrible thing. I was like, okay.
I hope we get her on the show one of these days. I think she'd be fun to listen to.
I think so too. Let me first of all, let me get her living.
Oh no, I know. No rush.
First.
Maybe she'll be here in time for Endgame. We'll see.
Who knows? Maybe.
For my What You Watching, I got a double dose here for you. One of which you actually took in today as well. So I figured we'd bring it up real quick. And the other one is just me, as far as I know. So I'll start with the one that's just me. Bro. Motherfucking Spider-Verse is so good.
Bro, I saw that. I did see it too.
It's so good.
It was either that or Twilight, and I saw that you were going to talk about this, so I'm like, I'll give you the funny one, and then we'll talk about the real shit.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
Spider-Verse was amazing.
So I'm not going to try to be overhyping or anything, but it's not hyperbolic when most of the critics are saying it is maybe the best animated film of the year, and maybe the best, like, superhero comic book movie of the year. It's close, if not the top.
It's up there, guys. Yeah. It's seriously up there. I, for one, loved the animation style. I loved the graffiti, like, art style that they input into stop motion.
I love the details.
I didn't think that would work.
I love the details in every character.
Amazing.
Because, like, here's the thing. Each Spider-Man from each different Spider-Verse is animated a little differently. For example, for those who have not watched, Spider-Man Noir, voiced by the great Nick Cage, he is animated all black and white, but the lighting on him is consistent. So it's like he's there and he's moving around like everyone else. You see the lighting and everything work like it does on everybody else, but he's all black and white the whole time, and it's so cool. There's Spider-Ham, who's like a Looney Tune, but then there's the one I found most interesting, which is Spider-Gwen, who's the only one animated at a full 60 frames a second, or 45, or whatever. Her frame rate's different than everybody else.
Really?
Yeah, it's supposed to be smoother than everybody else, and I'm like, that is so fucking cool. Give me a Spider-Gwen movie, please. I want it now.
Man, like with the success of Spider-Verse, I think they would be shooting themselves in the foot if they didn't make more of those movies, because that was amazing.
I do wish, though, that they had released it not around Christmas, because it got trounced by everything else coming out. I'm like, man, if you guys had released this, like, in January or February, it would be making bank left and right.
Yeah, I feel like that was Disney and Marvel kind of hedging their bets just in case it didn't do well. But yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good. If you have not seen it in theaters, see it. If you can't see it in theaters, rent it as soon as possible. And it's worth it. And it's probably got one of my favorite Stan Lee cameos in there. It's jumped up to the top 5 for me, probably.
Yeah, and like, everybody should go and see my son Miles. Yes, I say my son because I claimed him. He is my child, and I was so proud of him in this movie.
Every version of Spider-Man in this movie, except maybe Spider-Ham, he's kind of hit or miss for me. Every version of Spider-Man in this movie, fucking great. I love it. It's so good. Also, plot twist villain. I'm not going to spoil it here, but they did a good job with the villain in this. I liked it.
Very, very much so. Very much so.
We will probably do a Spider-Man themed thing at some point. This will definitely be worth talking about again.
Yes!
Before we get to that, though, a trailer dropped today as of recording. For you guys, it'll be like a month and a half ago. Fucking Spider-Man Far From Home.
Ah! My guy, fucking Mysterio showed up. I couldn't believe it.
Mysterio is like my Scarecrow for Marvel. He's pretty hype. I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't want to spoil things for people who don't want to see it. Because I mean, I get it. Trailers do spoil some shit, and this one kind of does if you haven't seen Infinity War yet and know what happens, and it's complicated. Anyway, this is really good. I think it actually looks way more exciting in terms of like action set pieces and whatnot than what we saw from Homecoming. So I'm excited to see if it like delivers on that setup.
Very much so. Very much so. I have like, it's not even a theory. It's just like a hope of all hopes, and I know it would kind of detract from the character, but I'm just spoiled, and I kind of want to see it. But I'm really, really hoping it would be really cool if they made Mysterio a sorcerer, like, because did you see like the mandala effects, like as he was fighting like the water elemental? As soon as I saw that, I got instantly hype, and I was like, oh my god, magic.
I'm wondering if that's actually legit sorcery, or if it's going to be like, oh hey, that whole monster and everything, that was all fake tricks and illusions. He's just fucking with you to get like headlines and money and attention.
That's what I figured. Like, honestly, that's what I figured. You know, like he's pulling a syndrome from the Incredibles. But I mean, if they made, I just want to see more magic. I just want to see more magic. It's so cool for me.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, with Guardians of the Galaxy still not being filmed, I imagine you'll see Doctor Strange sooner than you would have before.
Yeah.
God, I really want them to fix that. Anyway, we're like 12 minutes into this. We haven't talked about anything DC related yet, so we probably should get back to that.
Whoops.
So we're getting deep into the Crisis of Infinite films now, boys and girls, with this super week of films. Week. Today is 2013's Man of Steel. Directed by Zack Snyder and written by David Goyer and Christopher Nolan. The film grossed a domestic total of $291,045,000, with a cumulative worldwide gross of $668,045,000. That's good. It's respectable.
That's pretty good.
It's not Aquaman money, but it's good.
It's not. No. I don't think anybody's made Aquaman money just yet.
Well, not on the DC side, at least. Placing in the positive half of the DCFU films in terms of money, it stars such names as Russell Crowe, Diane Lane, Michael Shannon, Christopher Maloney, Lawrence Fishburne, Kevin Costner, and the White Wolf has awakened as Henry Cavill. For those who don't know, that's a Witcher reference. I'm sure there's someone out there.
Witcher.
There's someone in the back who didn't know. I see you back there.
I really wish they give him a better wig, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, as long as they have some fun with it, because the Witcher lore is pretty goofy and silly at times, and I want them to at least embrace that side of it. Have some fun with it, for Christ's sake. Interestingly, the film does boast dozens of nominations and even several wins. These include the SCAP Film and Music and Television Music Awards to Hans Zimmer, a Golden Schmo for Best Trailer of the Year, a Golden Trailer for Best Blockbuster Poster, Best Audio Video Technique from the Key Art Awards, and Best Hero to Henry Cavill. Or Cavill. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, actually. I've heard it many ways.
I'm pretty sure it's Cavill.
Cavill? Okay. For the MTV Movie and TV Awards.
Or it's probably Cavill, actually. Damn it. Yeah, it's Cavill.
But yeah, Snyder, you know how to make make trailers look good. Moving on to some fun facts.
All right, I have some fun fact for you. A fun fact. Henry Cavill, yes. Henry Cavill said that the most difficult part of making this movie was definitely his 2 shirtless scenes. He had been training for months prior to films, but for his shirtless scenes, he went on an extremely difficult diet and training regimen in which his calorie intake was cut from 5,000 to nearly 1,500 for 6 weeks.
Oof.
Now, after 6 weeks, he reached a body fat level of just 7%, the level achieved by professional bodybuilders during competitions. Henry said he did this because he wanted to make his abs as pronounced and his muscles as defined as humanly possible to create the best possible Superman physique. Now, Cavill returned to a more manageable routine after the scenes were shot, but felt his effort was rewarded when audiences and critics alike praised his physique for the true embodiment of what Superman would look like. After he had shot his shirtless scenes, director Zack Snyder gave him a tub of ice cream and pizza to reward him for his Herculean effort for his shirtless scenes. And I must say, damn, that dude was jacked. Like, for those 2 shirtless scenes, yeah, he was killing it. So kudos, sir, very much kudos.
You remember back in the days of G4, there was a show called Ninja Warrior. And I remember there was a guy who would show up at a competition regularly. And the announcers would always boast about how he had 6% body fat. So I've seen something pretty similar to this in like actual people. So
yeah, I'm personally trying to get down to 16. That would be cool. like if I'm at 16% body fat, I'd be doing pretty boss. So 7 is insane.
See, I'm not super worried about body fat per se. I'm more worried just about, like, heart condition, health, stuff like that. I know family histories and whatnot, and I know that those are the things I gotta look out for most.
See, Aaron, that makes sense, but I am more vain than I would really like to admit. So
I know.
I would like to get cut. Anyway, yeah.
Well, with that, Ryan, what are your initial thoughts on this film before we jump into the synopsis here?
I hadn't seen it in a very long time, and when I was watching it, I was kind of waiting for my old criticisms to kick in. I was waiting for them for me to remember them, and I'm not saying that I didn't have issues with this film, because there were definitely a couple things that I'm like, nope, that was dumb, but I actually liked this movie. I know a lot of people hated it, but I am a fan of, like, when they make the unattainable, like, superheroic people deal with, like, real, like, morality and gray choices and, like, so, like moments where you literally can't save everybody and you have to bend just a little bit to save people. I like seeing that, and I think this movie does a good job of kind of bringing that to light and taking Superman a place that he's never been before in mainstream media. So, yeah, I actually liked it.
All right, I'll get my 2 cents here. So I think I alluded to it last time, but it's been a while since we recorded the Green Lantern episode, so I'm going to just I might recap a little bit here. When I first saw the movie way back upon release, I think I saw it maybe 2 or 3 times in theaters. Not necessarily by choice. The first time was just, I wanted to see it. And I didn't know how to feel about it after that first initial viewing. It was the first movie I can remember coming out of thinking, I don't really know what to make of this one. Mm-hmm. And the more I thought about it, the more it kind of ate at me as to what was wrong with it. And then I watched it again and again. Not again. Other people wanted to see it. They dragged me along. I'm like, maybe I'll figure out if I like it or not. So finally, after the second or third view, when I came to the conclusion that I was not a fan of it. I don't necessarily hate it. Movies have come out since then that have earned the hate. But this one receives a very lukewarm to, like, very moderate, just kind of meh for me. And it's not that I hate it, but it's more that I see the potential of what they're trying to do, and I feel like there's enough here to really make a good movie, but they're just falling short of it in a few ways that I could definitely point out here tonight.
Definitely, and I'm sure you and I will be able to talk long about those things. But let's hear the synopsis before we start digging into it.
Here we go. Our film begins on Krypton in a prologue sequence where Russell Crowe meets sends Super Baby Kal-El to the distant reaches of space, to a neighborhood near you. I don't think he's on Krypton anymore, Toto. You get that reference. But Maximus Decimus Meridius dies. Spoilers. And General Zod, now arrested for his crimes of being too good a citizen to the people of Krypton, says, "He will find him!"
Wait, can I do my impersonation of that one?
Yes, please, do.
I will find him!
I like it. We're going to keep that one. As a vague threat to Mama El, he's sent into off-world prison literally before the planet explodes. Lucky him. He must have won that lottery. From there, the film really begins, following the life of Super Baby, who finds himself in the cold, harsh snows of Soviet Union. Oh, wait, sorry, wrong DC universe. Back up. He's actually
it's not Red Sun.
He's actually in Kansas, the canonical DC universe, where he grows up under the strict parenting of Pa Kent and the more loose and loving parenting of Ma Kent. Pa Kent dies from a case of tornadoes, and Superboy takes off into the world to find where he comes from, and maybe even become a Superman. I would have loved that song in this movie somewhere. That would have been cool. Enter Lois Lane, who meets him in some cold-ass place where the G-Men have found a spaceship that vaguely resembles his space pod that Kent's found Super Baby in. Superboy explores and meets his space dad, I guess Super Dad works, through bullshit technology and is given a super suit that would make Frozone jealous. Oh, and Lois is kicked off the ship because Superboy, doesn't want the press on his property. Little does he know that he last airbendered the fuck out of that ship and signaled the arrival of General Zod and his merry men, who gets not so subtle dramatic entrance. More like Super Idiot, am I right?
Yes. Oh my god, I'm gonna have so much to say about that.
Zod tells Superman he wants to rebuild Krypton on Earth instead of the dozens of other planets he no doubt found while looking for Superman. Superman politely rejects. Zod then puts his threats to action by attacking a small town, almost choking out Ma Kent, and then setting up a skybeam machine you're all sick and tired of on the world of Earth to terraform it into a shittier planet before Trump gets the chance.
You thought the wall was bad. Fuck.
Superman, Lois, and the G-Men form a plan to drop some kind of phantom bomb Superman's space dad told Lois how to build. But it doesn't work quite right away. So they kamikaze that shit into the skybeam machine. Zod's merry men are sent into space hell, and Zod is left to generate maybe 15 minutes of destruction porn with Superman before Superman becomes a real pain in his neck. Huh? You get it? Huh? Superman snaps Zod's neck.
Oh, shit.
I was trying to be subtle, unlike Zack Snyder. Boom! Roasted! Oh!
Damn. Mic drop.
Superman and Lois make out atop piles of ash and dead skeletons of Metropolis, but then we cut to Metropolis looking fine and dandy like sour candy. Superman has a job as a fake news journalist for some liberal rag, just in time to criticize the rich elite of Gotham and their handling of the crime problem.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
That was one of the more fun ones I've put together in a while.
Oh, shit.
I just like I like roasting people. It's fun.
So there's a whole bunch to talk about here. Where do you want to start?
Man, okay. I guess I'll start with my first question I have here, and we'll just see where we go from this, because we've seen a movie or two that takes place after this. Mm-hmm. Upon repeat viewings and knowing how the sequels play out, does this still hold up to you?
In short, yes, because I can take a look at what they were trying to accomplish with this movie and separate it from the multitude of ways that they failed with its sequel. Excuse me. Sorry, I got something stuck in my throat. How many years was it before Batman and Superman came out after this?
Batman and Superman came out in 2016. I think this came out in 2013. I remember what I wrote down a minute ago. Let me look. So 3 years. 3 years.
Yeah, I remember there being like a slightly extended period of time that was gone between. It's just like, oh shit, yeah, it's a direct sequel. Okay, well that's cool. And here comes Batman. So I like what they were going for. You mentioned in your first take pretty much that there's a lot of possibility inherent in the movie that they were going for, and that they just fell short of the mark. I definitely agree. Um, but in this instance, the possibility isn't outweighed by the failure of to live up to it. So I still like it's like a net positive for me because like they failed, but I still like what they were going for.
And that's
You know what I
fair.
mean?
That's fair. I think I'm of the mindset personally that this film on its own holds up. It definitely it definitely holds up in the sense that at least there's a story here you can follow, and it has a interesting take on the character. But I feel like that's kind of all it has for me. I think the acting's fine, but I think that the focus on action definitely kind of takes away from the Superman character a little bit.
100%, yeah.
And I think that and I know this is a common criticism, but it's become more apparent to me as we've seen more films since then. The lack of color in this movie also feels just very drab and bland, I guess is what I want to use.
Yeah, no, I can see that, definitely.
Because here's the thing. I grew up with Batman and Superman and all the cartoon shows, and you grow up with the comics, and all these comics, all these cartoons and everything, they're all for kids. They all have bright colors to get your attention, and they all have this very vibrant sense of style and flair. You actually can like tell a different artist a different artist style from looking at one comic to the other, and it's very clear, very distinct. And if you do this with Superman, if you wash out all the color, if you wash out all the style and all the flair, and make it feel more like Batman, it's really hard to tell who's like Superman you're looking at. Like, I get this is supposed to be Christopher Nolan's Zack Snyder. It's supposed to be similar in terms of like making a character grounded and realistic. But if you've read any of Superman's comics, you've followed any of his stories, he is one of the most unrealistic things ever to be created. And trying to ground it and make it real doesn't really quite work. I'm not saying you can't make an attempt to maybe remove some of the more goofy things from his lore. Trust me, there's a lot of it that they did in the comics that they are probably smart to have removed. Mm-hmm. But I feel like this might have been a few steps too far.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like overall, Snyder's idea, Snyder's like goal was to give you a more realistic version of Superman. Not even necessarily realistic per se, but just like one who doesn't quite get to find the perfect answer to save the world from 8 different extinction level events happening simultaneously, and gets to wrap everything in a tight, neat little bow. I think the focus on this being a Superman origin story, and especially like handing him like this huge ass problem to deal with, like it lends itself to the fact that he can't save everybody, like at first, even though he's Superman. And it kind of steps away from the happy-go-lucky man in the sun that like can literally do everything and do then without breaking a fucking sweat. I like the idea, but like you said, I do think they kind of overcorrected the course there. I definitely think the color palette was like super de-duper bland, aside from like the umpteen number of product placements that they had. Like everything else is just no color
correctly.
You gotta go to IHOP, guys. I mean, Superman fought there. See that manager over there? He knows him. He knows Superman from a young age.
They brofist really cool. All the time.
Yeah, no. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying with the color. I definitely noticed it. One of the things that I also noticed, and this is weird for me, because I'm not really one who pays attention to this, but when I saw it, it was like hella gratuitous.
I think it'd be the same thing I noticed.
The goddamn destruction! Oh my god!
Oh man, I saw that first. I caught that first viewing. Like, so here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. I watched both this, and I've already watched Batman vs Superman with Amanda, and she made a very similar observation. She's not one to comment in movies. These are the 2 movies I watched with her that actually got her to comment on them as to what the hell was going on in them.
Yeah, I was just like, the wanton destruction was like insane, and I didn't even really feel that way about like the first Avengers movie. I didn't feel that way about Ultron, where he was literally dropping a fucking like city from the stratosphere in an attempt to destroy the planet. All of these things, like
Well,
they felt like superhero stakes,
well,
and that was cool.
And both those worked too. I'm not trying to. I don't want to compare too much to Marvel, but those both worked because it wasn't just one dude fighting one dude. It was an army of aliens or robots uprooting and destroying shit. So you could kind of give it a valid reason to, the city's being destroyed because there's widespread chaos everywhere. Not just, these two Super Goku guys are fighting each other.
Right, and it I guess it really put a point on like I feel like the over like the crazy ass levels of destruction, even though he's fighting other Kryptonians that are hell bent on destroying the world. It's like it was a lot. It was a lot. Like I don't really know. I didn't really know how to feel about it. Like ever since he started fighting them in that small town, like
the small town, I feel like that's ridiculous.
I feel like that was like the beginning of the third act, really, and like the entire third act was just wanton destruction, like wanton, like everything was getting destroyed for no good goddamn reason, and I found myself feeling really bad for everybody who lived in that town. It's just these couple of guys that just showed up. And now everybody's shit is getting wrecked. Literally everybody's shit is getting destroyed for fun.
Well, if I may, I'm going to quote a line from the last episode of Justice League Unlimited, where Darkseid and his army invade Earth, and he is about to just wipe out all of humanity. And Batman and friends have cleared out the area, basically, as best they can, leaving Superman and Darkseid to fight each other off. And Superman walks up to Zod and says, every day I have to be careful with my powers. Every day I've got to hold back and make sure no one gets hurt, because the smallest thing I could do could rip this place apart like paper. And now I finally have an excuse to cut loose. And I'm like, that is like the Superman that I grew up with, and I think it's been the canonical Superman from day one for most people, where he puts the world and the people above himself and everything, and even against someone like fucking Darkseid, he will find every way he can to make sure to save as many lives as possible, and avoid the unnecessary destruction if needed. And I feel like even though this is his first outing, I feel like he's smart enough to know there are other methods to this, to fighting Zod than just going straight into the whole let's just fight in the middle of the city and blow everything up.
Yeah. I mean, it was nuts. Like I honestly couldn't believe it.
And
like I feel like the movie was trying to really capture that childlike, oh my god, this is so amazing. Look at these two superheroes duking it out in the city, and everything's getting blown up because they're so powerful and it's so cool and But the thing is that if you spend the first 90% of the movie making it as realistic as possible, and then end the movie with these grand all of this destruction, you're getting all of this destruction from a place of realism, and all you can think of is holy shit, this city is ruined. These normal people are getting their lives are ending because of this, and he's doing nothing to really help mitigate that. He's just fighting.
They cranked it to 11 way too fast.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think the destruction porn on display here is insane. And I'm not really sure how you could get around it. Because I think once you see Batman vs Superman, you kind of see that was the point.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a good point. Because here's the thing. From what I read about this film, they went out to make this movie with the sole notion that it cannot be like Christopher Reeve's The Old School Superman days. It has to be its own thing. And I think they succeeded and failed. They succeeded at making a Superman that is not like the other Superman, but they failed at making a Superman, is what I think it is.
So you think that they definitely escaped the shadow of previous Supermans in the past, but you think they strayed so far away from the ideal that it's not really Superman at this point?
I think so. Like they're definitely wearing the skin of Superman. They definitely have the set pieces from Superman, but I don't really feel like that's Clark Kent. I don't feel like that's Paul Kent. That's Zod. I'll give him that. They made Zod. He's a bad guy. It works, but a lot of this movie just feels like it's like the face of Superman without any of the substance.
Mm.
And I think the best...
That's a fair criticism.
The best way to explain it is I feel... sorry. I feel like Zack Snyder got his Superman action figure, his Zod action figure, and all of his other action figures, and just started smacking them around in this big old playset of his. And it looks cool. He did a really good job smacking his toys together. But at the end of the day, all he did was smack toys together. And it's like, where is the substance? Where is him saving the lives? Where is him doing the good? And there wasn't a whole lot of it. And it just felt like there was a core component to the Superman character we all kind of know and love a little bit. And I'm not saying you have to do one for one like from the Christopher Reeves movie. But I feel like you at least have to hit the heart of the character. And I feel like they were way more focused on trying to compare him to Jesus than to make him his own character.
Yeah! You want to talk about the Jesus symbolism there?
They were hitting you over the head so much with it. It was painful at the end of it.
You know what? I was willing to forgive and like for the record, I am a Christian, guys. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with Jesus a little bit of Jesus allegory in your superheroes. I will go with you on this. And I was willing to overlook when he goes to the church and he's like, I'm considering giving myself up for humanity, but I don't know if humanity deserves it. And he's got the stained glass rendition of Jesus like sitting on his fucking shoulder, guys. I was willing to give you that.
You did need the stained glass. I think you could have done without it. It would have still come out perfectly fine.
You absolutely could have. But I was willing to forego that. But when he's in the spaceship and like Lois just got sent back down to Earth and he's talking to his father's space ghost for what will be the last time in the movie, he falls backwards out of the sky with his hand, out of the ship with his hands spread out, and just floats away for no reason, like he's on a cross. Why?
It looks cool,
Why
guys.
You do that?
Look at me, Dad.
Why you do this?
Look at me, Dad. I'm Jesus. Quit it, son. Quit it. It's offensive.
I think the movie is trying to say that he's Jesus.
No,
I didn't get enough of Kevin Costner, like, you're the answer to our prayers, like, whether or not we're alone in the universe, and as soon as you reveal yourself, this world is going to be changed forevermore, and I'm like...
Ryan, there's another bit of symbolism you missed, too. There is Paul Kent, the father, there's Clark Kent, the son, and then there's Space Ghost, the Holy Spirit.
Oh, fuck you! No! Get out! You're kicked off the podcast. No, I can't.
No, it's legit though. Like, it's so there.
It is. Oh my god. Yeah. No. The Jesus symbology was a little on the nose. It was a little on the nose. This is coming from a dyed-in-the-wool Christian. A preacher's kid is telling you the Jesus symbology was a little on the nose, guys.
And here's the thing. If you had done one instance of Jesus stuff, like of Jesus metaphors, I've been fine with it. Spider-Man 2, he had the arms out like the cross, and the people carried him like he had like been the dead Jesus and everything on the train. And that's all they did, and it worked really well. It was a powerful scene. You needed just one instance of that to make a powerful, memorable scene. You don't need to bring it up multiple times and have all the subtlety of a bag of bricks.
See, when I think about it, and how that storyline carries out through Dawn of Justice, which we'll talk about later on.
Oh, it also has symbolism that's very not subtle.
Because here's the thing. I feel like Man of Steel is where they're like kind of warming up to the Jesus symbology. In Dawn of Justice, Superman is God. Like, Superman is, like, he is truly revered, like, straight up as a god. And it's like they saw what they did in Man of Steel, and they're like, okay, well, we want to talk about the what Superman's even existence means for humanity. And that's a very valid question, but the movie goes out of its way to really hammer home the whole, no, you don't get it, guys. He's God. There's literally nothing we can do about that. He will float down from the sky majestically and slowly and save you from all your sins. Like, the movie starts bashing you over the head with this concept, and if they did it subtler, it would have been really, really interesting.
Listen, Zack Snyder, I don't need Superman to save me from my own sins. I can just jack them off all the way. Purge those
Blasphemy!
sins from my body. Purge all the sins.
Now all I need is Clark Kent saying blasphemy and smacking you into the sun. That's it. That's
Christ, that would be painful as shit.
Fuck.
Well, speaking of the Holy Spirit, Ryan, let's talk about Jor-El real quick.
Okay. I feel like I've spent a lot of time kind of shitting on this movie, but I did actually like it. And one of the big things that I did like, I actually really, really liked Jor-El, and I liked Russell Crowe in the role.
Yep.
I thought having him become like a space ghost afterwards to give you the exposition and to tell Clark exactly where he's from. I thought it was, yes, on the nose, but also necessary, you know? And I call it necessary because I feel like he's the only major parental figure in the movie that really goads Clark into actually becoming Superman. Like, you have Pa Kent, who's talking about, oh, you need to keep your powers a secret. You need to keep them hidden because the world is not ready for you just yet. And you have to decide what kind of man you're going to be as soon, like, when you come out, because when you are out, it's going to change the world for good or ill. You have all of this, like, hesitation. And then when Jor-El shows up, he's like, no, like, we sent you here because of their capacity for good, and you can be the bridge between our two peoples. We see that in you because you represent hope, and they can follow you into the sun. Like, he was giving him all of the tried and true Superman shit that I wasn't getting from Pa Kent. Like, I got that from Jor-El.
I want to interject here real quick. So before I get on my thoughts of Jor-El, I want to make a quick slap at Pa Kent here. This film came out in 2013, Ryan, and and Pa Kent's whole arc, his whole theme is hide your powers, hide who you are, because the world's not ready for you. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, another movie came out this year with the same exact theme: hide your powers, hide who you are, the world's not ready for you and your crazy abilities. Let it go, Ryan. Just let it go.
God damn you.
No, it is funny, though, that both those films came out the same year with that same kind of message, and the Frozen movie nailed it so much better on the head than this one did.
Yeah.
But back to Jor-El real quick. So the opening sequence he has with on Krypton, where he gets the DNA skull and sends Superboy into space, Super Baby into space. I love that whole scene.
I do too.
And I argue, if you had just made that the movie, and then made a sequel that followed up with just Superman being on Earth, I would have been down for that. That would have been really cool. You could have extended that whole scene into a longer movie, show us a little bit of how Krypton works, give us all this setup, and then have make it seem like, oh, this is going to be a Krypton-based series, okay. And then the last 30 minutes, oh shit, Krypton's blowing up. What's happening? Zod's going crazy. What's going on? And then it leads into this post-credits where it's like, oh, hey, you see Pa Kent walking up to the space pod. It's like, what's all this about? And then sequel, Man of Steel. I don't know. I just liked the world of Krypton and the characters enough where I'm like, I would rather have seen more of that than the rest of it. Not the rest of it was so bad I didn't want to see it, but I really liked what I saw enough. I would want to see more of it.
I do agree with that. I think that their taste, like their teaser of like life on Krypton in the final days of it before he was sent off, I thought was done very, very well. The Krypton that they painted there was really, really cool. I love Jor-El. I love General Zod. And I love the storyline that kind of stems from the doom of Krypton, and I think that's one of the biggest missed opportunities in the movie, and we'll get into that later on, but um, I don't think a Krypton movie would have had the pull that everybody that they would have wanted out of this particular movie. Like the Krypton storyline is amazing, and that's why Sci-Fi did a series on it, and I think it did pretty well, or at least I was really interested in checking it out. But yeah, I don't know if it would have done. I don't think it would have had the box office pull that they were backing with all the money.
Well, maybe.
You know what I mean?
And the other point to consider too is that this was DC's first movie into the multiverse that they wanted to set up, and they were kind of fast track it very quickly after this. So Krypton being a thing was never going to happen. But I would have paid up the nose for that because that sounds like a really cool idea.
Yeah, no lie. I definitely would have been.
But more on Jor-El though. I will say I think that the projection system he has in the ship, I personally felt it might have undermined his death a little bit. In the sense that
Really?
you killed off this character, he made this big sacrifice, and oh wait, nope, there he is. I mean, he's not really there, but he's basically there. And I don't think it's like a movie breaker by any means, but it just felt kind of like, okay, there are other methods you could have gone to make this happen. You could have made it a recording, which would have been very simple, but it's been done before. You could have done what they've done in the comics or the cartoons. I don't remember which one did it more than the other. But Brainiac was actually on Krypton when it exploded. And you could have made it like, oh, hey, this AI unit, Brainiac, is here to tell you what to do. And then you could have a movie later on that's built up with, oh, hey, Brainiac's gone fucking haywire and is going to eat the whole planet. We better stop him. I don't know. There are methods you could have gone for, but I think they went with this one because they tried to keep it based in reality, even though I think this technology is super far out there that it probably isn't as real as they think it is.
Well, I mean, it's Krypton. I'm not going to be mad at them for having like stupidly crazy advanced technology, and I'm not mad at his kind of death being overwritten by the AI, because I don't think the quote unquote sacrifice of Jor-El is the big arc of his story. I think it's the wisdom and the knowledge that he passes on to his son after he dies. Like, remember, once he dies, like when he gets stabbed, it's like a quiet moment, you know? It's not like a big drawn out, oh my god, Jor-El is dead. It's more just like he managed to save his son, and then he just kind of faded off into black once Zod stabbed him. I think the big impact is the push that he gives Clark to really start to become Superman, and the last conversation that he has with Zod, asking, like, pleading with him not to destroy the Earth. I think those are the big things from his character.
We're running a little long here, so I'm going to try to fast track.
I know,
we're trying to fast track a few of these questions here. What do you think of Paul Kent's sacrifice, and what do you think of his method of raising Clark?
It's really odd. Again, we're used to seeing Pa Kent talk about, like his ability to help everybody, and really getting that kernel of kindness and overall goodness from
Pa Kent's basically Uncle Ben.
And you didn't get that. But you didn't get that with this one. You got him either saying, hey, you need to keep your powers a secret, or, when you decide to step out into the sun, you are going to change the world simply by existing. I don't think we got a moment of him actually being just a dad until, right before the tornado hit, where Clark was being a bit of a brat and saying, I don't even know why I need your permission. You're not my dad. You got, a glimmer of, actual parent mode out of Pa Kent before tornado happens, and then he sacrifices himself in the stupidest way imaginable.
I'm sorry, but I feel like the whole sacrifice is dumb. Like, I am so down for
is.
characters sacrificing themselves for, like, a purpose or a reason. There was literally no reason for him to do that. Superman could have done it so fast that no one would even know it was him. That's how fast he is! Why are we concerned?
Like, honestly, if he was worried about how it would look, he would have ran to the car, he would have used a small portion of his strength to free the dog, nobody would have seen it because he was far away, and then he would have carried the dog back, and that would have been the end. And
he would have been able to run faster, but not so fast it was obvious, like Dash did in Incredibles during that one track sequence.
Yeah, no, that sacrifice did not play well.
I definitely think Pa Kent's a Uncle Ben style figure where he's supposed to preach responsibility and kindness, and I feel like this was very much a weird direction to take it in. I think Ma Kent makes up for it, but they don't give her enough fucking screen time. They need to have her say more things and do more things.
Wait till the next one. She saves the world because her fucking name is Martha. I'm sorry.
Spoilers.
Excuse me.
Okay, next one. Kind of tying into that one, Ryan, and this is a question that Amanda and I had. I got all these names in my head now. Amanda and I talked about this during the movie, and we actually kind of came on the same page in this one, so I want your thoughts. Do you agree the world isn't ready to know there's life beyond our planet? And are you ready to hear there's life beyond our planet?
That's very interesting. Personally, I could handle it because a lot of my personal introspection is like, it's centered on my development as a person, and the introduction of other people and other beings, even like changing everything that we know about outside life. Like, it's interesting, and it's definitely something to work through, but it would not cause me to question everything that I believe and that I think is true about, like, life. So I would personally be okay with it. The world? Probably not.
So here's the thing. We both agreed on our end that we're ready. In fact, I'm so ready. My anus is ready. Aliens, come and get me. Let's probe this shit.
Gross.
But no, like, all this advanced technology and all these advanced ideas, I'm interested to see it, interested to experience it. If they can fucking, like, make my vision better, if they could teach me shit that I wouldn't know, if they could make me a better person, fuck it. Why not? I'm open to the idea. I mean, I'd love to see what they have available. And I think both of us were, you might call us naively optimistic, Ryan, but both of us have the opinion that maybe not the whole world, but enough of the world is ready that you don't need to keep this a secret. Because if you consider the fact that the most popular things in media right now are superheroes, are sci-fi, fantasy, aliens, monsters, horror films. We have legions of nerds and legions of people out there who obsess over this kind of pop culture, from vampires to aliens to Cthulhu and so on. I honestly believe that more people are ready out there than that you might be given credit for, and that Paul Kent is giving credit for. And I don't know, I feel like a world with Superman would probably be fine. I think you definitely would have your bad eggs who would try to abuse the system in some way and abuse the knowledge that this person exists. But I think the majority of people would be like, oh no, yeah, that's cool. This guy can shoot laser beams and he can fucking save lives. This is great stuff.
My worry on it, honestly, is that I feel there are enough people that can be convinced of anything that can be taken advantage of by other nefarious people. Do I think that there are people that absolutely would welcome it and see what's going on, and welcome that with open arms? A bit of hesitance because it's something entirely different, but yeah, open arms? Sure, 100%. Do I think that those people are loud enough to drown out the people that will try and take advantage of the situation or try to twist it for their own nefarious ends? Probably not. And not to get too political, but there's a fucking GoFundMe page to build a wall, and I'm not. It just irritates me.
So I don't. I believe that has actually been stopped, and the people have been refunded from that. I think I read an article about that.
That's not like the fact that people actually would have done it. That's what troubles me, and that's why I feel like the world as a whole probably not ready, or at least maybe not America.
I don't know. That's definitely a good question to consider there. I'd love if anyone in the audience wants to leave their emails or comments down below, because I would love to hear your thoughts on if you're ready for extraterrestrial life, or if you think the world's ready. Again,
that would be a hell of a conversation, guys. Please, please, please write us on that one. I'd love to.
And again, I feel like I'm overly optimistic, but bring it on. Bring on the probes, bring on the powers, bring on the aliens. I'm down for this shit. My anus is ready. Okay, what's next? Skip that one. Okay, Ryan, we're going to end. This is the last question here, I think, is on everyone's minds. What are your thoughts on the neck snap? This is the question that divides, I think, the majority of fans. So where are we going to settle this? Where do you settle this one at?
So overall, I liked it because you had it put Superman in in all of mainstream media. You see Superman doing Herculean feats of crazy ass strength and ridiculousness. Motherfucker picked up a small continent made of kryptonite in one movie, and it looked really, really cool. But we usually see him doing that. I think what Zod represented at the very end was pretty much the biggest challenge that I've seen him come across, which is what happens when you have somebody that you cannot contain, that it's literally impossible for you at this moment in time to humanely capture. Will you try and hold out to your morals even if it gets people killed, or will you bend and sacrifice a bit of your moral fiber to save people? I like that they put him in that predicament, and I am okay with the neck snap. Do I think it's just another thing adding on to that makes this not Superman? I understand that. I that's a very fair criticism. But for that one thing, I like it.
I have problems with it, as you could probably imagine. The big problem, aside from it not really feeling like a Superman move, because let's be real here, with the fucking stacks and piles of powers that Superman has at his disposal, there were methods he could have taken to avoid that. He could have lasered Zod himself. He could have frozen him in place. He could have, just flew in the air with him and pulled him out of there. There's many of options he could have taken. But I'm going to ignore that for a second because I want to focus on the big issue here, and that is the narrative structure of the thing. The reason that Superman teams up with Batman and teams up with the Justice League in the future in terms of the comics and the cartoons is because he can't be everywhere at once, and because they are willing to do things he won't do. Wonder Woman, she's willing to kill. Batman isn't in most cases, but he is able to do he's able to stick to the streets and do the more cerebral stuff that Superman isn't quite as known for. Every member of the League, every member of the DC team is designed to kind of help balance out what the other characters can't do or just are unwilling to do. And that's what makes the League such an interesting team to follow when they're all together and operating as one unit. If you establish in the first movie of Man of Steel, before you do anything else with the DCEU, that he is willing and able to kill, and not only that, he can do it with just a flick of a wrist, basically, why is anyone else on the team a relevant character? Every problem going forward is irrelevant because he can just snap its neck. He is willing to do it. If he's pushed hard enough, he will do it. Now, if the Fallout movie had been good, they would have addressed this specifically. They would have had him tackle a human person who he was unwilling to kill because he knew he had to have his own limits. But they didn't really address that. They had a bunch of other shit to address that movie, and we'll get to that next time. But the fact remains, though, they kind of set up for that, and they didn't do it. And they just sort of gave us this really hyper-power, hyper-competent character who doesn't need a team and doesn't have any real threats anymore. So I feel like it just sets up a lot of problems down the road. Maybe not for this film specifically, but definitely for any sequels to have any meaningful threats or any reason to have team-ups.
That's a really interesting criticism. I hadn't thought about it that way, but yeah, no, I it's very interesting that you put it that way. The idea that if there is, like, if you have him overcome this limit, and it shows that, hey, like, he is okay with killing, like, if, like, at his wit's end, he's okay with actually killing somebody. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's very interesting. And I think what it also does is it undermines the conflict between Batman and Superman.
Oh, it so does.
Up, because what moral ground does Superman have to stand on? It was like, oh, well, Batman's killing people. I'm like, so did you. Okay? Like, are you mad because he's like hurt, like he's causing a lot of
Are you mad because
injuries?
he's better at it than you are, Superman?
You literally leveled this fucking city. It's like pot, meat, kettle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, trust me, when we get to Batman vs. Superman, that podcast might run long because I wrote it up already. I have a list of grievances a mile long. It's there, guys. It's ready. Get your butts ready. It's gonna happen.
Hold on to your butts.
Ryan, before we move on to anything else, is there anything you want to add to the conversation that I may have missed?
Oh my god, I kind of wish we had like 30 more minutes. I mean, like, so I think I'll bring up the one thing that I really wish that they had talked about. They briefly touched on it, and they like went back to it every now and again. But I think had this been a major focal point of the movie, I think it would have been much, much better. The idea that Krypton as a society had reduced or resorted to genetic engineering, the genetic engineering of every single.
That was a really interesting detail that didn't get a lot of play. Yeah.
Right. So it got like the barest minimum of play, and I'm gonna trace the line for you, and like it would have been really, really cool. So every Kryptonian is designed for a purpose, like from birth, from conception. They are designed to do that. Clark, being the first natural birth of Krypton, is the first Kryptonian born in centuries that literally had no purpose written on his life. He embodied possibility. He could do anything that he wanted to do. It didn't lock him into one thing, but instead it gave him the capability to strive for more. Now that, when he has that final conversation with Zod, he references that as being the failure of Krypton, because everybody was so locked into their role that they could not think outside the box, that they could not strive for greater feats, that even though Krypton was a great and amazing place, they were still locked in their own ways and they could not grow. And that already Clark is twice the man that Zod would ever be. I think had they leaned into that more, it would have been a much better movie. And it actually acts as the catalyst for like the ending sequence, because when literally all the Kryptonians are sent to the Phantom Zone except for Zod, and pretty much like the last hope of actually rebuilding Krypton is gone, you see Zod, whose literal purpose was to do anything to have Krypton survive, lose his sole purpose in life. And that's what drives him off the deep end. So I feel like had they really focused on that more and made that like a strong through line of the entire movie, that would have made the movie.
And I think it's a problem with Snyder films in general, not just this or Batman or Superman, but a lot of his older stuff too. they lack a lot of focus. They're kind of all over the place because he's busy bouncing from action piece to action piece. And here's the thing: his action pieces are really good. They really are. When he sits down and like crafts them, they're really beautiful. But the lack of focus outside of that makes them feel, like I said earlier, they lack substance. They lack a real purpose. They're just there to have action figures slap against each other.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah, I feel like definitely this film is a representative of missed opportunities. A lot of good setup and a lot of good ideas at play, but a lot of missed opportunities for those ideas. Mm-hmm. Anything else before we read off a few things?
No, I can't wait till next week where they take the missed opportunities and multiply them by 10.
They take the missed opportunities, shatter them into shards of broken dreams, and just crush them beneath their oppressive feet. And if you want to email us about your crushed dreams and oppressed feet crushing them, what email should they send that to, Ryan?
Again, that is Jesus Christ, why are so many people dying in this movie at gmail.com. It is evacstation at gmail.com.
Evacstation at gmail.com. And you can also go to us on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, follow us, like us, share us, and leave comments and explaining your thoughts on all these movies. Do you think Man of Steel worked? Do you not think it worked? We're going to discuss that in more details in the next episode. I have trivia set up, but I'll say that for next time in case you run a little short, because we're running a little long right now. So tune in tomorrow, because Ryan, we're going to be discussing what is considered to be an animation darling, All-Star Superman.
Yeah, All-Star Superman. I've watched the short, and I've actually read the comic, and I can't wait to talk about that.
Well, see you guys tomorrow, and remember, we'll see you after the credits.